Hey, Bob Heilig here. Happy Friday to all of you. Today, I want to answer a question that I think is a little bit of a touchy subject for a lot of entrepreneurs. And here's the question. Do some of my close family and friends, the people that are around me in my life, do they actually want to see me fail and struggle in my business? It's a really difficult question, and I know this message is probably going to hit home for a lot of you, but I think we do have to face the reality that a lot of times when we first become an entrepreneur or when we first begin to see those early signs of success, a lot of times what we find out is that there are people in our life that we thought would be right there on the front lines cheering us and supporting us that actually secretly want to see us fail. And it's one of the trappings of entrepreneurship that I think a lot of people struggle with. So I want to talk to you about this subject today. And for any of you that might be dealing with it, hopefully I can give you a perspective to help you get through it and get over it. So good morning, guys. Welcome. Hey, Lisa, Christine, thanks for being here. Krista, hey, Krista, good to see you. Daniela, Mandy, Olia, David, what's up, brother? Hey, Rebecca, thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate you checking in this morning. Today, we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship. And specifically, we're going to be talking about unsupportive people that are in our life and how sometimes makes it very difficult for us to stay the course, especially since a lot of times it's very lonely in those early stages of entrepreneurship where we're out there trying to make it happen and people are not showing up for us. And so let me kind of get into the message today, and then maybe we'll take a couple of questions here at the end of the message, this video today. But I want to actually go back. I remember there's a book that I read. It's actually by Darren Hardy, and it's called The Entrepreneurial Roller Coaster. I highly recommend it. But in the book, Darren Hardy uses this, and I've heard this analogy before, but he uses this analogy of crabs, and specifically how a crab trap works. And it's such a powerful analogy for what we deal with sometimes with negative people in our life. And basically, here's how the story goes. And if you guys have heard this before, then you can relate to this. But crabs are left, on their own. They're very smart and clever animals. They can get out of pretty much any situation they're in, wedge themselves in the tightest of spaces and get out of those areas. But those very same crabs are literally caught by the thousands every single day thanks to a very human-like quality that they possess. And here's how it works. See, a crab trap is very simple. It's a wire cage with a hole at the top. And all the fisherman does is places a piece of bait in the bottom of the trap and lowers it into the water. And then what happens is the first crab, I'm imagining this is how a crab walks up to a crab trap. The first crab comes up, sees the bait, climbs into the hole and starts munching on the bait. And then before you know it, the second crab comes up. It's my crab imitation. Goes through the hole, starts munching on the bait. And then before you know it, it's crab Thanksgiving. There are, dozens and dozens of crabs in this trap, right, munching on the bait. And then eventually the bait's gone. And here's where this becomes really interesting. And here's where the human-like quality of a crab starts to come into play. Now, the crabs could very easily just walk right back out the hole at the top of the trap that they came into, right? It's still there, right? But they don't. They stay in the cage. And here's the thing. Long after the bait is gone, more crabs keep coming into the trap. Now, why do they do that? Well, they see a crowd of other crabs and they think, oh, let's just go with the crowd, right? Let's follow the herd, right? Does that sound a little familiar? And not a single crab leaves. Now, why is that? Well, eventually what happens is some of the crabs in the midst of all this craziness, they look up and they're like, I just walk out of the trap, right? I mean, literally, I can just walk out. So they try, but then what happens? All the other crabs will do anything in their power to keep that crab from walking out of the trap. And here's the thing, they will repeatedly pull that crab who's trying to climb out. They will keep pulling him back or her back into the cage. And if that crab persists, they will literally tear its claws off so it can't leave the trap. And if it continues to persist, they will kill the other crab. I want you to think about that. How crazy that is, right? The crabs, controlled by the power of the herd, right? And even long after there's not even any bait in there, they stay in the trap. And that's easy. All the fisherman has to do is pull it out of the water. Now, this is such a powerful analogy for us as entrepreneurs. And think about how this applies to our life. See, one of the things that you need to realize is that when you choose to become an entrepreneur, when you choose to be different, when you choose to walk away from the 90% of the herd, all the other people that are out there, that are not on that same path, something very strange begins to happen. See, you're choosing to become an entrepreneur is the equivalent of you trying to get out of the crab trap. And when some of the people that are around you, when they see this, it threatens them, right? They are the other crabs that they see you trying to climb out of the trap, trying to create a better life for yourself and your family. You say, you know, me just getting by and earning a living is not enough anymore. I want financial freedom. I want the ability to define life on my own terms. I want to make a bigger impact in the world. You know, I want to do something special with my life. When you try to get out of the trap, they start to pull you back in. Now, so what happens is instead of encouraging and supporting you, what we find, and this is shocking to a lot of entrepreneurs, is that a lot of our family and friends and coworkers, they start to become crabby and they try to drag you back in. Now, here's the thing. They don't use physical force. They don't need to, because their methods are way more powerful. They're the dream stealers. Those are the ones that try to sap your belief. They try to knock you off course, right? They tell you, who do you think you are to do that? Or, you know, they start giving you negativity, or, they're skeptical of what you do. And here's sometimes where it's even worse, right? Sometimes it's not that they're outwardly negative, but they're not even showing up and cheering you, right? So one of the things that I've learned is, guys, when you really start to become successful, pay close attention to the people that are not cheering for you in your life, because that's what's going to happen. And this is very difficult for us as entrepreneurs, where we're looking for people to support us and be there for us, and they're not sometimes. Now, I think it's important to understand that there's two key reasons why this happens. I think we need to understand why this occurs. The first reason is this. When you become an entrepreneur, when you make that decision, you say, you know what? This is not good enough anymore. I want to do more with my life. And you get out there and you start doing something, you make them look bad. You make them look bad. See, because here's why that is. Your decision to create a better life, to venture into entrepreneurship, I want you to imagine that you become a giant mirror that reflects back on them. And here's what they see. See, they're not even mad at you, right? It's like we've all heard the sayer, we've all heard these people referred to as haters, right? Well, here's the funny thing. They don't hate you. They're a hater, meaning that they hate themselves, because you become a reflection of what they wish they could be. See, they know that they should be doing more. They know that they should be creating a better life. And when they see someone they know doing it, right, it makes them angry, right? They know that they don't have the courage. They're too afraid to even try. They know that they're lazy and they don't want to do the hard work that it takes to build a business and become an entrepreneur. So by you stepping out, you make them look bad. That's the first thing. And then the second thing, it has everything to do with courage, right? See, most people, they simply just don't have the courage to be able to do what you do. So it's easier for them, instead of, facing their fears, putting themselves out there, right? A lot of you have probably encountered this when you first started doing videos, where you had these people, right, these friends of yours or maybe some family members that just wanted to sit back and snicker and make fun of you and think it's a joke, right? It's easier for those people to mock you, right, than it is for them to actually have the courage to do something that forces them to step out of the little bubble that they've created called their comfort zone. So their choices, right, to change, to not change, make that more obvious. And here's what it all has to do with. All of what we're talking about has to do with something called resistance. And, one of my favorite books of all time is called The War of Art. And The War of Art is based off of this concept that every single one of us has two lives. We have the life that we live, which is the reality that's around us today. And we have the unlived life within us. And the unlived life within us is the greatness that is inside of each and every single person. Every one of you has the ability, to do things like if you actually accomplished half of what you were capable of, you would literally astound yourself. Every person has that greatness in them, but the problem is that what keeps them from realizing it is what the book calls resistance, but all it is fear. See, fear is the thing that keeps us from realizing the greatness that's inside of us. And your willingness to push past it and to unlock the potential that you have inside of you, that makes other people very uncomfortable. So when somebody's being negative and unsupportive, just recognize it for what it is. It's their own resistance. Now, does that make it any easier to deal with? Not necessarily, but we need to understand where this comes from. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with your business, and it has everything to do with them. So put it in look at it in a different context, and hopefully that will help you along the way. And then also realize, guys, some of you might be watching this video and you're like, man, you know what? I'm pretty lucky because I don't really have any haters. Well, here's what I'll say to you. You haven't done much yet. You haven't made a big enough impact, because the moment you do, trust me, they will show up. And I wear it as a badge of honor. The more haters you have in your life, all that means is that you are finally on your way. It is a natural part of the journey of an entrepreneur. So that's the message for today. Hey guys, I'll take a couple of questions, but really quick, I want to just make sure that all of you know I have a special promotion running on all my online training courses. It's 50% off. I have two courses. If you're in the network marketing profession, which I know a lot of you are, I have two courses. I have a course on LinkedIn, which will help you with prospecting and finding high quality people to recruit into your business on LinkedIn. And then I have a course called the Breakthrough Academy, which is a kind of my signature course for network marketers. Today is the last day for you to get 50% off those courses. So if you're interested, just go to bobheilig.com/courses. I'll put a link in the comments in the post here. And I do want to let you know, today is your last chance ever to buy the Breakthrough Academy. As of tomorrow, I will not be offering it for sale. If you buy it today, you still have lifetime access to all the material. It's a self-study course, but this will be your last chance to get it today. So that's the message. So guys, if you have, does anybody have a question? I'll take a question or two. When it comes to this area of, Norma, the coupon is already applied. You don't have to add the coupon. It's already applied. So Liz says, what's my best one-liner when a hater makes a comment? I wish I had an answer for you, Liz. I'll just tell you personally what I've learned to do. I don't even acknowledge or respond to haters. If I have a hater that leaves a comment on one of my videos, I literally will delete and block them. That's all I do. Because what I used to do is I used to try to come up with clever ways to make them wrong and to try to, come back at them. And all it wound up doing was sucking me into a negative energy that I really didn't want to be in. So I literally, here's what you do. Like, let's say you're in a conversation with somebody that's a hater and is just being one of those people. Like, here's what I learned early. One of my mentors told me, they said, you'll never win an argument with a negative, skeptical person. You'll never win an argument. You'll never convince them that they're not right. So here's all you do. Let them be right and you go be rich. Now here's how you do that. Let's say that Gabrielle was like, that's a scam. It's never going to work. Instead of me then digging in and defending, right? Here's all you say. You might be right. Thanks for your opinion. I'll see you. Somebody says that'll never work. Well, you know what? You're probably right. That's a pyramid. Yeah, you're probably right. You could never do that. Yeah, you know what? You're probably right. Thank you. Like, literally, don't even get into the negative space with them. Just say, hey, you're probably right. I'll go be rich, right? Like, just don't engage in it. And I find that you'll be in a much better mental space as you go through your day. Let's see, any other questions at all about unsupportive people in our life? I'll take one more question here. Okay, so Michelle says, how do you continue a relationship with family when they totally don't support you? Ooh, okay, so this is a good one. So Michelle says, how do we deal with family? See, here's the problem. Sometimes the problem is the negative person in our life is the person that sleeps in bed with us, right? And I think that this is a delicate area. Now, I want to say something. Michelle, let me say something to you. And I don't know that this is necessarily the case with you, but a lot of times, here's where I see this coming from. Because the person that's in the business has not been as successful as they would have hoped, or maybe not successful at all, and your significant other is watching this and not understanding what you're doing. In their mind, they see this causing more pain than it is pleasure for you. And they try, in their minds, they think they're helping you by getting you to stop. Now, I want you to ask yourself a question and be honest. Have you really showed up the way that you need to deserve the success that you want in your business? See, because I'll tell you, you want to know the easiest way to make an unsupportive spouse supportive? Start making money. Start getting paid. Start having them see visible signs of success. And here's what's funny. The moment you start making money and your spouse who used to give you a problem because you had the conference call to get on, all of a sudden, here's what they start saying. They say, hey, what, aren't you supposed to be on a conference call? Like, what's going on here? You need to keep working this thing, right? So a lot of times, we don't want to admit that we ourselves are part of the problem because we're not showing up and committing and working our business at the level that we need to create the success that we want. Now, let's assume that all that being equal, that's not the case. Well, I think sometimes, we just need to have honest conversations with people in our life. We need to get them to understand the reason why we're doing it. Because a lot of times, and this happens with children too sometimes, where if they see your business as just something that takes time away from them, they view it as a negative thing. See, sometimes we have to get our family bought into our goals and dreams. We have to sit down and dream build with our kids or our husband and say, guys, look, I'm not gonna be around as much for the next 6 to 12 months. But here's the reason why. Because I'm trying to build us a business that will allow me to have freedom so that we can do things that now we can't do. So, you know what? Pick a vacation spot with your kids and get a brochure and get them excited and say, hey, you know what? If you support mommy or daddy here, you do some chores, let's get the whole family behind me going out and working this to achieve a goal that all of us, let them know there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Right? That there's a reason why you're sacrificing now. And here's what else that does. That provides a whole new level of accountability for you. Because this is what begins to happen. Your children start watching you. And I'll tell you what, guys, if this more than, let this motivate you, if nothing else does. If you put that out there to your kids and you state that I'm going to do this, you better follow through, because you understand you are modeling to them one of the most important lessons of their life, which is persistence, follow through, delayed gratification, having integrity and doing what you said you were going to do. Do not quit and do not let failure seep in, because what kind of an example is that going to set for your children? Because trust me, they're watching you. You have a responsibility to go out and be successful. So, I just think sometimes, we want to blame things on it's external factors, when most of the time it's not that. Those external factors, that negative spouse, is a reflection of what the real problem is inside, which is you're not showing up the way you need to. You're not consistently facing your fears. You're not taking massive action. You've got to do the hard work that's necessary. So that's the message for today, guys. I hope you got some value out of this. Hey, just a quick reminder, bobheilig.com/courses. Today is the last day to get 50% off of my online training programs. Spread the word, tell your teams. You can get my LinkedIn course for less than $100, which is like a joke. That course is going to be going up considerably, and today is the last day for you to get the Breakthrough Academy. So check it out if you want. We've had a lot of people purchase already, so I hope you guys enjoy the courses, and I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. And I hope today was helpful for you on a number of different levels. Share this broadcast with anybody that you think this message can help today. So take care, guys. Have a great weekend. See ya.